Craig Moeller, and we continue with the weather desk. For the next couple of days, we're actually doing this a little differently. We're going from our 13 News Now live impact news studio. So again, it looks a little different. We'll eventually get back to the big studio, but for now, we're going to get into the weather topics as we do every single weather desk. Sarah Calloway, super producer Sarah Calloway. Good morning. You doing okay?
I'm great.
Very good. It's still hot here in Hampton Roads. We actually have a beautiful day shaping up. Things not so beautiful in Hawaii as they continue to work to recover from Lala, and we're going to update you on that. That's going to be one of our top stories. I will say they're catching a break right now, but here's the problem. There is another system that may threaten or impact Hawaii, and I'm going to talk about that one, the chances for development, and when the islands may be hit with yet another tropical system. Hard to believe. In addition to that, I'll have the full tropical update. We'll look at the Atlantic Basin as well. Then we've got a really wild story and an amazing lightning strike. I saw some images of this, and I love, Sarah, when you found this story, you wanted to share this with our Weather Desk viewers. Lightning struck the USS North Carolina down in Wilmington, and it is a wild image, and the video was super crazy with that. So we'll show you that. Thousands of folks in Indiana still without power. It's been a week since the derecho came through and knocked out so much power. And I know as of yesterday morning, there's still like 90,000 to 100,000 without power. We'll have an update on that situation from one of our sister stations who've been watching. Just, folks here in the Midwest, you think about, areas that are impacted by tropical systems. And yes, you could go a week or 2 weeks without power. But to have a line of storms and with the derecho, you're talking about a large line of destructive winds coming through, knocking out power and taking this long to get it back up. That's a rare event for folks in Indiana, and they are reeling with that. So we'll have an update on that. There is more trouble with drought in North Dakota, parts of that state feeling really a drought disaster. We'll talk more about that. And we've got an unsettled pattern here in the 757 for Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina. Upcoming weekend may be a wet one with scattered showers and some storms. Hopefully we'll get a few breaks, but it looks pretty unsettled through the weekend anyway, and maybe into Monday as well. I'm going to start off, though, with a look at our weather impact alert, and then we're going to get to the situation in Hawaii. I do want to give you an early heads up, but I'm going to have so much more on this when we break down the severe weather outlook and then get into the full local forecast. In a nutshell, Thursday, late afternoon and evening, we have a cold front that will push through the Hampton Roads region. And again, if you're watching from outside of Southeast Virginia or Northeast North Carolina, when we talk about Hampton Roads, that's the areas in Southeast Virginia, the metro area around Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk, Hampton, Newport News. There's 7 cities. Portsmouth, I think I got all 7 of them. We have this area right here, the 7 cities, and the bodies of water come together. That confluence of water is known as Hampton Roads. So we talk about Hampton Roads. For this area, we have the front coming through late Thursday, and it's going to produce potentially gusty winds, hail, and heavy downpours with the front coming through. There is some potential, a level 2 threat for excessive rainfall. So you need to stay weather aware and stay alert to potential areas with poor drainage backing up. We've seen that over the past couple of weeks in some locations, and we want folks to know we could see some additional flash flooding tomorrow evening. I'll have a lot more on that coming up. Let's get into what's going on with our first weather headline. As far as the weather desk goes, we said we'd talk about Lala and the recovery. You see the system is far past Hawaii at this point. I do want to show you again, Hawaii is still cleaning up after the damage caused by Hurricane Lala. And Angela Ciafone has more on how the community is leaning on one another to get through this.
It was heart-wrenching. I got emotional. Seeing the town that I grew up in.
That heartbreak comes after Hurricane Lala devastated Ka'u.
It's obviously the worst storm that we've ever gone through. We were running around the house that my dad built. So I'm not going to get emotional here.
And that emotion continues throughout the community.
Everybody helping each other and pitching in. That's the heart of our community here. That's the heart of Ka'u.
Residents are leaning on each other, but they're also getting help from crews working around the clock.
Throughout all of the mess that you see, we have our workers out here that have been working. It literally feels like nonstop.
I am extremely grateful that within hours help was started and, equipment was here.
And that work brings something everyone needs: hope.
They're up at the crack of dawn out here, and you hear the machinery, and it sounds like hope.
Those workers had one goal: reopen access.
The goal was to have access in one day, and that was achieved.
While working on the roads is a great first step, there are many other steps that follow.
We need your standard things, what you would think of, the gas, the propane, the toiletries. We haven't had a shower, I believe, in 3-4 days, and that's most of us, and we don't care. We're trying to make light of it now, but it was crazy during the moments.
While they're rebuilding their community, they're choosing to stay positive. Angela Safone, Island News.
All right, so Lala has now cleared the Hawaiian Islands. Obviously, that recovery is ongoing. I will tell you, Lala has actually strengthened. Early this morning, it was a Category 4. With the 8 a.m. advisory, it came out now downgraded to a Cat 3, but still a powerful hurricane moving away from the islands. Maximum winds, 125 miles per hour and gusting to 160. Now, here's the problem. Lala may be gone. You just heard from some of the Hawaiian residents here picking up, kind of getting life back together. They need to be mindful that there is another tropical system with an 80% chance of development over the coming week. And that is headed on a somewhat similar path to what we just dealt with Lala. So I'm going to show you, we've got that one there. That, I believe, the next name on the list is Mocha. Okay, and that's M-O-K-E, and it looks like it'd be pronounced maybe Moke or Moke or something, or Moki. But when I looked into the Hawaiian name pronunciation, it said Mocha, like the sound like pet or jet, Mocha on the E. So that'll be the next name. Take a look at what the models do with this. You see Lala there leaving, but you're going to see this next area, kind of circles of yellow and red, getting closer to Hawaii as we go Saturday and then eventually Sunday into Monday. That yellow group of cluster of circles there, that's the GFS model, and it puts it just about identical to where Lala was when it came by. The Euro has it a little bit weaker and a little farther south. We'll need to watch and see how things play out, but there is that chance, so we'll continue to watch that. The good news in the Atlantic Basin, no cyclone activity expected in the next 7 days. So we can still kind of rest a bit here in the Atlantic. We'll keep you updated on Hawaii. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, and coming up, we're going to talk about those folks hit so hard in the Midwest, and we'll have more of that dramatic lightning strike around the USS North Carolina. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. All right, we're going to take a look at the weather and a really interesting story. Let's go to the graphic here, Sarah, because we have right now, our area looking pretty good. And honestly, as we expand the view and take a look down into North Carolina, it's quiet as well. But I want to take you down to Wilmington, and that right there is the USS North Carolina, and it's ported there in Wilmington. Things were a lot different. Check this out. A dramatic lightning strike. There it is. Wow. Check it out. Caught on camera right there in Wilmington. This video shows the bolt striking the historic battleship during a storm in Wilmington. That was on Sunday. The World War II era ship saw combat throughout the Pacific, taking part in every major naval offensive there in the Pacific theater during World War II. The ship was saved from the scrapyard after the war and brought to Wilmington in 1961, and it now serves as North Carolina's memorial to more than 11,000 state residents who died during World War II. Isn't that a spectacular image? All right, we'll take you from Wilmington back to the central U.S. and an area that really needs some relief and some help now. We're talking about Indiana, and thousands of residents there still in the dark after strong storms knocked out power to customers across the state. Now, Trey Ward has a look at the recovery efforts near Griffith.
Streets still lined with toppled trees and down power lines in Griffith finally get removed 1 week after devastating storms tore through northwest Indiana. The damage is still widespread, as well as power outages.
This tree's been here as long as the home, and we've never been out of power for longer than 24 hours, and this has been the worst I've ever seen.
Cleanup on the street coming sooner than expected. That's because Griffith's town council president, Rick Rifa, says he had to step in and directly reach out to NIPSCO. While he also is still without power, forced to use this generator for days.
NIPSCO doesn't allow anybody, including the town, to clear tree limbs that are on live wires or even dead wires. That's their policy. I think today is the breaking point when we aren't seeing a whole lot of NIPSCO trucks in town. We understand we're not the only ones to be affected by this terrible storm. However, we still have 3/4 of our population without power.
That's nearly 5,400 customers in Griffith, according to town leaders. This while restoration efforts continue in nearby Munster, where NIPSCO now estimates people in that area could be without electricity until next Tuesday, 2 weeks after the storm.
We still have not seen one NIPSCO truck. It's been these out-of-state companies, which we're so grateful for, but we haven't seen anything from NIPSCO.
Unfortunately, if I were in the NIPSCO upper management, high level, somebody's going to be fired.
It's such a frustration. Again, those power companies working to restore, but still more work to do. I want to talk to you about the severe weather outlook right now. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the radar mosaic. And Sarah, you can take this full so folks can get a good look at this. I want to go ahead and we'll focus on some of the areas seeing that rain, heavier rain down across southern Illinois, some pockets into Missouri. But we do have one area, it looks like, under warning here. And I want to go ahead and put that up on the map in case anybody maybe has family or friends out there south of Mills. There's a severe thunderstorm warning, and you can see it's a sparsely populated area, only about 1,600 or so people living in that area, but a severe storm nonetheless for that part of Nebraska. So we'll continue to watch that area with those impressive thunderstorms. Severe weather outlook today. You can see there's a level 2 threat across parts of Missouri and Kentucky back into Tennessee. And I notice this is a newer addition here south of Phoenix down through Tucson. We have a slight risk as well. Now, as far as the potential for isolated tornadoes from, say, eastern Nebraska around Omaha and south of St. Louis down into the Boot Heel, you have that potential for, an isolated tornado. Can't rule it out. Also a low risk of hail. As we take a look, though, the primary concern is going to be for damaging wind gusts, and we've certainly seen thunderstorms producing some of that. Now, the flood potential is also elevated in these same areas. You can see a level 2 threat from Omaha back across northern and eastern Missouri, portions of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, western Kentucky and down into Tennessee, and then a little bit in southern Arizona. As we look ahead to tomorrow, the severe weather outlook does shift to the east, and we're going to talk more about our local area back out across parts of Minnesota and South Dakota into Nebraska. Still a marginal or level 1 threat. You can see some large hail in that part of the country down around Memphis and just to the south of that. But for Hampton Roads, we've got to watch out for those stronger storms late tomorrow as well. At the top of the show, at the beginning of the weather desk, I mentioned we have a weather impact alert for late Thursday. This is why. Thunderstorms come through. Could see a little bit of hail. Could see some gusty winds. You see the area with the strong wind potential. And then again, we have the potential for excessive rainfall. It's a level 2 flood potential from the Weather Prediction Center. In addition to that, we're watching for that heavy rain. We'll continue to see a threat of some more additional heavy rain later on Friday as well. But the severe weather threat is not as great on Friday. You'll see down to the south, there's still a marginal risk, but Hampton Roads not included on that. There is still a chance for severe storms back across Nebraska. All right, time for another break. When we get back, we're going to take a look at North Dakota and more areas with disaster declarations due to the drought. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. You know, earlier this month, the U.S. State Department, the Department of Agriculture, not the State Department, the Department of Agriculture designated dozens of Virginia counties as natural disaster areas due to the drought. Well, in other parts of the country, other areas are also being designated this way. On Tuesday, the governor of North Dakota declared a statewide drought disaster. And I can tell you it's been very dry, especially the southwest part of North Dakota. They're hoping that they can get some help to farmers through several dry seasons. Alec Birch has a story from Fargo.
As drought conditions worsen across the state, farmers and ranchers are being hit hard.
Basically from Bismarck to the South Dakota and Montana border is as bad as we've seen in a very long time.
Governor Armstrong declared a statewide drought disaster Tuesday and instructed the Water Commission to activate the North Dakota Livestock Disaster Fund for the first time since 2021.
It's from here all the way, it's bad everywhere. Like there's nobody that's been, like when you're going west, and you're right, it's really bad in the eastern part of the state as well.
In the most recent drought report, more than 30% of the state was facing a severe drought, with almost all of the state being at least abnormally dry.
The latest analysis had Fargo in a severe drought and lots of North Dakota in abnormally dry.
July was one of the hottest and driest on record in North Dakota, and those conditions worsened our drought outlook for the year.
With that heat, I mean, we were in that big ridge, right? So just lots of high pressure over the region and really hot temperatures and really just no precipitation. So we kind of had a few factors maybe working against us there.
While we're still behind on precipitation, we might not be seeing enough to alleviate the drought anytime soon.
Any rain that we do get, any precipitation, it's likely just going to be absorbed, right into the ground, and we really need it to get saturated before, we're going to get out of this drought. So we're going to need, to cut a long story short, we're going to need a lot of rain to get out of this.
And with a potential super El Nino to come, possibly the strongest anyone alive has seen, the drought may not be letting up anytime soon.
I mean, as long as, these outlooks, kind of come true here, and we do see this polar jet stream kind of reside further north, then I would say it's probably a possibility that, yeah, we could be seeing these dry conditions continue for quite a while.
Reporting in Fargo, Alex Birch, KVRR Local News.
Okay, you can see it is still very dry, severe to extreme drought in the southwest part of North Dakota and around Fargo. They are also under severe drought right now. Parts of the western U.S. still under severe drought, from Wyoming and Colorado down into New Mexico, the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma, southern parts of Idaho, Oregon, still really in need of rain. Of course, U.S. Drought Monitor updates every Thursday morning at 8:30, and tomorrow on the Weather Desk, we'll get you the very latest, and this map will be updated. We'll let you know how things change as well. We're going to take a short break. After this, we're going to have a look at the lunar surface at a new crater that was created by that rocket that crashed into the moon, and we're going to talk about our local weather and the severe weather outlook coming up. Welcome back. All right, this is really cool, I think. I want to share new images from a NASA satellite orbiting the moon. They reveal a fresh crater. If you look at those two images side by side, there's a fresh crater up there, and it's about 60 feet wide or so. The crater was formed by a wayward SpaceX rocket that slammed into the lunar surface earlier this month. The crash involved the upper stage of a Falcon 9 rocket that originally launched in January 2025. While the rocket's booster used for liftoff returned to Earth, the second stage continued, eventually sending it on a collision course with the moon. Now, the rocket collision was unplanned. NASA's researchers say it did not pose at any time any threat to anyone here on Earth. And again, the lunar surface is bombarded with things all the time. So really, again, it's a new crater there, but the moon has craters all over it because it's constantly being pelted with space rocks and different meteors, things things like that. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look live outside. This is what's going on across Hampton Roads. We've got a mix of sunshine and a few clouds out there. Things are actually looking pretty good. It's still muggy, though. Look at that dew point at 76. We are seeing temperatures right now lower to mid-80s. You factor in the humidity, and it feels like 89 in Norfolk, 90 in Virginia Beach, and 92 down in Edenton. A lot of heat through the afternoon. Those feels like temperatures in the mid-90s. All right, as we look at the temperature trend, it's going to be hot tomorrow near 93, and then temperatures at or maybe even a little bit below average as we go over the next 8 or 9 days. It's going to be nice to get a little break from the heat. The humidity is going to be with us. As I mentioned, we do have a cold front coming through tomorrow, so while we warm up ahead of the front, we will be watching for potential showers and storms late in the day. Take a look at the futurecast. You're going to see the showers and storms developing here as we go along late tomorrow. This is at 3 o'clock. Those storms starting to pop up. The line could get very intense with that potential for storms, some hail maybe off to the north, and gusty winds, and then those storms work through our area as we go Thursday evening. By Friday, a few showers lingering early, more storms possible later in the day. There's a 7-day outlook, folks. You can see the temperatures will be cooler, still unsettled through the weekend. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Weather Desk. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.